I'm Morgan from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a look at the Arterra Falcon 2L Hip Pack, which I've been testing for 3 weeks. If you find this video helpful, hit subscribe so that we can continue making content that helps you travel smarter. Let's jump in. So the exterior material is a 840D microballistic nylon with a PU film backing, which provides like an excellent amount of weather resistance and durability. It feels like a simple nylon type material, but it's still very like smooth and comfortable, but it definitely feels really solid, really rugged, especially like it'll be able to provide a good amount of protection for like all of your gear inside. The zippers are zoom zippers and have like a nice Hypalon pull tab, as you can see there. They glide pretty easily, although sometimes there is like a little bit of friction around the corners, but it's never like too serious. And then it also uses Woojin hardware. So like this plastic buckle for the hip belt. There's also, these two buckles as well, which is part of their interesting wing expansion system, which I will get into in a little bit. And then right here is a dedicated D-ring for attaching extra gear. And so I found that this was perfect for a hero clip. It's like really simple, really out of the way, but I would also like hook on maybe like a small water bottle or like an umbrella or something like that here as well. As for branding, it's pretty minimal with just the Arterra logo here on this one side, but it is basically, that's it. It's really nice in that it kind of gives like an inconspicuous aesthetic where it's not like screaming anything, but it's also like still got a nice clean face, I would say. So this pack offers a nice degree of versatility in the way that you can carry it. Personally, I carried this primarily as a crossbody sling, but it is a hip pack, and so I did try that out a couple times and I found it to be surprisingly comfortable, especially thanks to like this wing design. It does like a really good job of providing like a comfortable carrying experience. And then the strap itself is really durable and it adjusts pretty easily. And so moving from hip pack to crossbody sling was literally just as simple as adjusting it for the dialed in length. And so, the plastic buckle is permanently attached to one side, which did require a little bit of like intentionality when it came to putting it on, just to make sure that this was available. It's kind of like a chunky buckle, but it is really secure and it definitely holds the pack together and keeps everything like pretty minimal, especially being located on the side. And then it's got like this nice strap keeper system, which does a really good job of just managing all of the extra slack so that it's not like in the way or annoying or dangling, which is always appreciated. So this is what it looks like on. As you can see, as a crossbody sling, it has a pretty minimal form factor. And one of the things that I really liked about it is that it's really easy to go from from crossbody sling to hip pack without having to take it off, like so. And then the strap management system is also pretty nice as well. So it keeps everything nice, neat, and organized. Taking a look at some of the secondary compartments. On the front, you may have noticed this interesting design here with these two buckles. This is their Falcon wing expansion system, which I found to be pretty innovative, I think. It's a really interesting idea that works really well. So basically it kind of just acts as like a pocket. And so you can store larger items here that may not necessarily fit within this sling. That's why it has kind of like this loose design. And so, for example, like storing a hat here, you can place it right here and then secure it with the adjustable buckles on either side, like so. And then it just is like a different way to store various gear. I found this works really well for like gloves, hats, a decently small size umbrella, I would say. A leash if you're walking your dog. You know, it's pretty flexible in what it can carry thanks to its design. But one thing I did notice is even when I didn't store anything in here, just because of like this design and the way that it sits in front, it does kind of obscure the front pocket, which can be found right here. And so I found myself sometimes just undoing the buckles entirely and trying to get access like this. And especially since the zipper it's a single zipper, and so to keep it closed, it's positioned all the way down here in the very corner. But inside, it's got 3 stretchy mesh pockets towards the back that provide a nice degree of extra organization, and these stretch pretty nicely. It also keeps everything really nice and secure. It doesn't have like a whole lot of slack, which was super helpful, especially when like smaller items, like I just have a bunch of like these little hand sanitizer packets in here. And then, gum I store typically in here. This is like a decent space for like slightly larger items. I would also store like AirPods or, you know, smaller things like everyday essentials here. And then when done, I would just like close that back up and then attach this again. That way that it's not dangling. It is possible to get access to it with this connected. It's just like a little bit more clunky to get to the zipper. But like once you do get there, because of the opening, it doesn't interfere with it really at all. So just something to keep in mind. The main compartment has dual zippers and is like a top loading design. And so it allows you to store the zippers at either end. And then it also opens up really wide, like really nicely for like a really great overview of everything inside. And you can store a pretty good amount of space in here. I was surprised, especially with a pack that's 2 liters. So inside I just have my wallet, pair of AirPods, and a field notes journal. But I would also store my phone here pretty regularly. In the back is a plastic key leash anchored to this, like to the top and to the side. And because of its length, I definitely would have to remove the keys in order to use them. But one thing I did realize, like typically I'll either store my keys like on a carabiner or in like a key organization thingy, like an Orbit key clip. And because this pocket isn't like the biggest, I just noticed that it did a really good job of keeping my keys here, but it's still kind of like my keys would still jumble around a decent amount in this compartment with everything else. And so typically I would store my phone in here only if I just needed to free up my hands, but I would not keep it in there just because I'd be concerned about the keys and the screen kind of interacting. On the other side, there we go, is a zippered pocket with a nice amount of space as well. And so it just adds like another degree of organization inside here. And then the rest of the compartment is just like a nice empty space. And so you can fit a good amount of gear in here. And even my wallet, I liked to have it stand up just to kind of keep everything slightly neat and organized and easily accessible. So I could literally just put all of this in this main compartment and it still has like room to spare. So there you have it, the Arterra Falcon 2-liter Hip Pack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next video.